Okay, well, thank you everybody for joining. This is a whistle stop. It's all it needs to be, but it will absolutely help you in 2021. It's the only provision software, Predict Plus for practices, which will help you risk profile, segment, analyze every single one of your compliance clients typically. Now, all of your advisory clients, I would recommend you put them on. I would just use this as a whole portfolio move, and you'll see why. So what is it? Well, let's take you through. So Predict Plus is enabled by Predict, our next generation hybrid technology. So this is the power behind the Predict Plus portfolio analysis. So I'm just going to take you through that very quickly. Small businesses, as well, you know, because you deal with them every day. They're super complex. Anything, one activity with a customer has implications on pricing, stock, VAT, invoices, sales, collection days. They might be on credit. You know this story, but it's very, very easy to not forget. But because you don't have the time, you don't have the bandwidth within your firms, that the majority of your clients who are compliance clients are struggling with this all of the time. If we then factor in, the bottom section here, COVID, payroll, staff, furlough, loans, can they pay themselves, tax deferrals, the entire holistic business is, often a minefield. So what we've done with Predict is, because we know that every single one of these types of transactions or impacts do ultimately have an impact on cash flow as well as business performance and trends, we have made sure that Predict gives you the whole picture. So it accurately forecasts exactly how much money any business will have next month or next year. Well, you would expect it to do that. But the tech shows when things are likely to happen based upon our own proprietary small business algorithms. We know that just simple machine learning cannot predict small business data accurately. It's impossible. So this is more for your small business clients. However, the engine behind this is then going to feed Predict Plus, is what I'm going to show you. So every transaction created within Xero or within QuickBooks Online is fed into Predict's next gen algorithms. Accuracy is something that we are gunning for, because we sometimes hear, well, it's good enough. Well, good enough today in 2021 isn't good enough. I will challenge anybody on that. Now, we can't be 100% accurate, but things like VAT calculations, they should be calculated. They should be calculated from actual and predicted transactions, not just estimated, because that was what the quarter before's figures were. So here's a little outline of Predict. So every client will be listed, and don't worry, this is going to be sent out to you as well. Predicted cash flow headlines at the top. Of course, it would. Why wouldn't it? You can scroll backwards and forwards so that you can see the historical data up until a year, and you can see, of course, the future data for 3 years. You can expand every account to see the predictions. You can also group all of your accounts together. This is what we call the engine room: sales, cost of sales, and expenses. Every single prediction is explained. Journals and non-voiced data is also predicted and explained. And then we have a cash flow impact view. This is just pure cash flow. What's the cash impact of all of the activity that's going to happen in sales, cost of sales, and expenses? And this is where you see unpaid due invoices and bills included. This is why it's a hybrid. All of the P&L and balance sheet transactions are included, as well as due invoices and bills for pinpoint short-term, medium-term accuracy. So you can exclude bills and invoices, you can edit the due dates of them, and the cash flow will be really super accurate. But of course, we also have a full three-way forecast. We have the profit and loss with all of the calculations one would expect to see. You can scroll back historically for that too. We also have the balance sheet. Now, this is where we really, really highlight the VAT side of things. And we've also added in, you just saw there, the COVID deferral options as well, either deferring it in one go or over 12 months. We have monthly views, we have weekly views, your VAT is always highlighted. It really is the complete business in one place. It is the world's first. Totally connected. Oh, she's gone too quickly, far too quickly. But it's the world's first, and it's the world's first, totally connected, totally instant, and totally complete three-way hybrid forecasting app. That is why it's so important that this is used. Cashflow only doesn't give you enough information, and you'll see why when we come to the Predict Plus side of things, which is now. So what's Predict Plus for practices? The first thing that we will do is connect every cloud client to your, I'm just actually going to back up a little bit here. The first thing that we do is every single one of your cloud clients in Xero or QuickBooks Online is connected by Featurely. So we do this. We're doing this for you to our Predict technology. We've managed to automate it. We're speaking to Xero at the moment because it's not as smooth as we would like it, but we do that for you because we know you haven't got the time to do this. The next thing that we do is, as you've seen, all of the Predict algorithms are going to create accurate three-way forecasts. All of the invoices, due invoices and bills are brought in, overdue invoices and bills. That's important when we look at the metrics in a moment. The next thing that we do is that the Predict information that we've connected sends essential raw data to Predict Plus for practices, which you'll see in a second. So we inject lots of different KPIs in order to, here we go, weight and analyze every single client's cash flow and operational health data points. So we've split out, it's very, very important, as you know, to split out cash flow health from operational health. We're looking at current information as well as future information. We know that tools like Xavier are doing a great job at looking at data health in the historicals. What we're doing here is doing a lot of that as well. However, it's also most importantly extrapolating out those hidden trends and seasonality, one-off transactions, COVID effects into the future and looking at the next 6 months in Predict Plus so that you can be tactical and strategic in your firm. The next thing that we do is grade your clients. We grade them into high risk based upon this weighting and analysis. High risk, medium risk, and opportunity tiers. Because you've got some of those compliance clients who are sitting there in your portfolio who may well be doing really well through this trying time. And you won't know about it until you meet with them in that annual tax meeting, potentially. Final thing we do, the right clients, enable you to do, is that the right clients are contacted at the right time rather than when their compliance is due. So that's the process. We're doing all of this for you. So the impact, I'm going to show you the report in a second, but what we've seen in January already is that the average across the UK accounting firms who have rolled out Predict Plus, 49% of their compliance clients are sitting in the high risk bracket. On average, it's staggering. And of course, that's 60 to 100% of your revenue, all of these clients. So, you know, being able, at the worst case, if you think that you are now at risk of running out of or really seriously impacting your own firm's revenue because many of these clients, you just don't know where they're at, this is a tool that's going to help you with this. The most extreme was one firm facing £540,000 worth of client losses in Q1 because the cash flow risk to so many of their clients was so high. They funnily enough have an action plan in place now. So your process, actually, before we go into this, I'm going to actually show you the report and what is injected. Now, this is something that will be created once a month for you. So this is your home screen. We inject the data using APIs into Sheets, because Google Sheets. Why do we do that? Because you all know how to use spreadsheets. So it means that you can filter, sort, etc. But the weighting, all of the calculations in the background are done automatically off the back of the raw data that we push in. So on the home screen, you'll see that in this demo file, 44 clients up here, 44 clients top left have been assessed. We've entered in average fees per annum. You'll be able to do this too. So if I put in £5,000, everything will update. And in this instance, 23 of the clients are high risk, which is 52%, 14 are medium risk. And remember, of those medium risk clients, some of them will probably fall in either the high risk or the opportunity camps as well. So they are certainly to be looked at and not ignored. But there are 7 who are doing really well and are probably companies who are flying under the radar and who your advisory team should really be speaking to help on the growth front. We'll give you an averages across your portfolio, across all of the core KPIs that we're looking at. Why? Well, you want to know the health of your whole portfolio. This is how you find out how you find this out, and it will also help when it comes to what you should do next with it, because you may well find out that you have a serious problem within your compliance portfolio with firms having clients having overdue invoices. Well, do you have specialist credit control team, or do you have people who would be good at that? I'll come to that in a minute, but this is where you start to use this information to be tactical in your own business. You'll see every one of the clients will be listed here. We're doing assessments for over 1,000 clients for firms. So what we can do if you're a multi-site firm is create one per firm. We can also then, if you want, we can consult with you on this, but it's possible for us to then give you a whole company view as well. But you'll see that each one of the clients have got a cash flow RAG status and they've got a business health cash status. Why? Well, their business health may well be green and rocketing ahead and be grand, but actually their collection days are dreadful, and so their cash flow could be at massive risk if current patterns continue, or seasonality patterns continue, which predict factors in across the board. You also can benchmark your whole portfolio will be benchmarked here so that you can see where they sit for all of the KPIs above. And then as a very quick ready reckoner, you can have a look at the bottom 20, top 20, bottom 10, top 10 for each of the metrics as well. So it's very straightforward, but hugely powerful and can be hugely impactful positively on your firm. We've also split out the client detail so that, for instance, you have a meeting with me set up to go through my tax return next week. And as part of it, you say, listen, I've run your numbers and we're concerned because you are, in this instance, let's go back and see who's a high risk one. Investee, there we go. Let's choose one here. There we go. So we've discovered that you're in our high risk tier. Well, what does that mean? Well, it's predicted in the next three to 6 months that you're going to have a negative cash flow, but you also have some unpaid bills which are being included. Do they need to be paid? Have you got your loan repaid? Is the loan repayment scheduled in? We need to put that into Predict to see how that's going to start impacting. Are your unreconciled bank transactions? We have some in there. We probably need to get on top of your bookkeeping. So the action points are also automatically, created by the Predict Plus data sets, so that it doesn't need to be a partner having this conversation. This can be any client manager. It's all about very, very straightforward, discussion. This is not about big traditional advisory conversations. This is about being tactical and strategic, not just in your firm, but with your clients too. This is not scary for them. This is something that they can understand and take action on. And through these meetings, you will then create action plans, which will end up generating revenue for you. Because if you end up, you've got, for instance, you have one of the clients who's got a lot of high risk and high risk. Let's have a Keen Boys Creative. Wonder what they've got in their system. Hold. There we go. Okay, so we've got some overdue invoices in here. We've seen in some instances one of the Practice Predict Plus assessments last week. One of the clients had £350,000 worth of unpaid and overdue invoices. Well, guess what? That is an amazing one-off credit control action plan that you will work on with them. You say to them, I'm going to defer my costs. We're going to put in a direct debit in 2 months' time for X amount. And I know that you will be able to pay for it then, because I will have proven the value, because we will have got that sorted out. These are the kinds of really strong, impactful, value-driven conversations that you can start having that removes the elephant in the room of what is advisory really. This is what it is. And it's there ready for you in all of those compliance clients that you've got. The data that we've got is all of these data points that we've pulled in and injected into the sheet. We've also looked at the VAT scheme for each client, and Predict is updated automatically with whatever that VAT scheme is. Equally, if they don't pay VAT, it's not going to calculate VAT for you. But we support the accruals and we support the cash schemes. So, we are very, very passionate about VAT. It's a personal story, that one, and many of you may know it already. But the point about putting this in, you'll see the first tab says Client Manager. What we want to do is very, very simple. So we go select all. This is how you'll find your report, so everybody will be listed. What I would suggest that you then do is filter by high risk. We're going to do that. And then we filter cash at the end of the current month, A to Z. So you have who is in the most trouble. Then we're going to say, right, okay, so Simon, you are our funding expert. You're the one who's worked with Swoop or Capitalize the most. You're going to take the top 10 in this list. We also have, in follow-up webinars, we're going to start showing you our 5-point plan for how you get Predict in 15 minutes bang on, which will then mean that, all of this information the next month, because this is a monthly thing we're giving you here, you'll have it totally up to date and using the power of it in the best manner. As you go down, so for instance, you've distributed all of your clients to different members of the team. And why wouldn't you have a Monday afternoon meeting, bring all of your team in, say, right, these are our clients. First thing we're going to do, assign all of your names to anybody that you've got meetings with within the next 2 to 4 weeks. So they put their names in. Next thing, right, we're going to go into those who are at most risk. Who's going to take those? Who's going to take the ones who've got the credit control problems? Who's going to take the ones who needs to refinance their loans? Who's going to take? So you just start being super tactical. You shouldn't be not charging for this, but this is all about actually being able to pick up the phone with your small business clients and saying, I need to help you because this is going to happen. Okay, so that's what we're going to do on that side of things. You've then got cash at the end of the current month. You've got all of the month's revenue. So we've got the average revenue. We've got the average profitability. We've got the percentage of the revenues. The percentage of unpaid invoices. Sorry, is a percentage of revenue. Same with bills. We're looking at liquidity as well. The debt that we're looking at, we exclude directors' loans if it's obvious that it's a director's loan. We can't be 100% on that because we don't know the businesses, and sometimes the names of these loans are a bit mental. But if there's a B bills, bounce back, C bills, we absolutely put that in there. And as I showed you in Predict, you must make sure that in Predict, their VAT deferments, their time to pay are all in there. Again, unreconciled bank transactions is a massive part of a business's health. So you need to be picking up the phone and saying, right, you have to start bookkeeping. This is a reason why many small businesses, your compliance clients, haven't had a reason why other than to make your life easier during in tax return season. It's just something to think about. What's in it for them? This is in it for them now. So if we move back to this section here, just to kind of recap, the first thing you're going to do is assign the team names to all of the clients with meetings booked. filter them by high risk, and then sort the results A to Z, and then agree a timeline with each other. Maybe it's like, okay, for the top 20 high risk clients, or top 50, depending on the size of your team, we are going to guarantee that they have got a half an hour Zoom booked in with us within the next 2 weeks. It's all about being super strategic. 2021, I don't need to belabor this, it's going to be worse than 2020. All of the deferments are going to hit. Furlough will end. It has to. And we just don't know how long our lockdown is going to be. So whatever you can do, be tactical now. It's not, it's time for not the same old. All right. So where do we go next? Tactical teamwork. Just really having a think about that. Again, who have got the most paid invoices? Who are running out of cash this month? Who've got the lowest average net profit over the next 6 months? If you've got specialists within your team, or people who are comfortable in having those conversations, use them. Use your team to their strengths. Yes, I am going to say the time is now. I do think that this point here is something that is not thought about a lot. And it just struck me last week that you are, apart from banking, the only industry who are privileged with access to their own customers' financial data. It's astonishing. And, it's taken for granted, but use this to help them and you. This is a new type of advisory. It's a new service. It's not traditional advisory. And it could make an enormous difference, not just on your practice, but on your clients and our greater economy, because we know that we rely on our small businesses. So down to the cost. Now, how we're working this is Predict Plus for practices, the report that you've just seen, this report, which will be generated monthly, is £5 per client. It's a monthly recurring cost. It's nice and cheap. You've got so many data points in it to really be impactful and strategic. And that will be an ongoing cost. If you then want to use Predict with your client, you don't have to, you could just have the report. If you then want access to Predict to use with your client, we're going to do that for you if you've got Predict Plus for £10 a month. This is about us helping you too. There's no point us creating amazing software and then charging through the nose for it. This is about making it it's about this 90%. It's not about advisory. It's about these 90% of compliance clients who need your help and who don't know how to ask for it. Helen, this is Helen. She is our COO, and she and the team are ready to get your firm started with Predict Plus now. If you have Helen's email address, it's helen@futurely.com, or email us at predictplus, that's, as you can see, it's spelled here, at futurely.com. And that, my friends, is